Alright, well, it's time to cover another lovely D&D video within the beautiful, beautiful times of our rambling and ranting. I don't know if that's going to be the name, but for now it is. Anyways, so I've gone over, how to be a good player, but, there's a step before that, which, I talk about in the video a bit, and that's having a character. So this video here is going to be on how to make a character. At least the sheet part. The backstory and the roleplay personality stuff I'll probably cover another time, but for now I just want to show people how to actually make a character, because if you look here, there's a lot. But yeah, so we're gonna do this nice and simple, whatever the hell I was trying to pronounce right there. This is an easy process. The first time it's pretty difficult, but otherwise, after that, you pretty much get the gist of it. It's not that bad. So what you're going to need is a character sheet. You can download them for free. It's the form fillable PDF. You can get it right off the Wizards of the Coast website. Oh boy. It's totally free. Just snag one. That's what this one is. Just so that I show that it's a real thing. And then what you're also going to need is a copy of the book. I have a PDF version here. You can do it from the physical book too, or any of the other books. But for the sake of it, I just have this right here. The whole book right here. Whole thing. Anyway. So first and foremost, there's some steps you can take to make this process a little easier. If you already know what you want to do, then you just get to fill it out and you're done with it. But for those who don't know what to do, here's the process we're going to go. I'll try and keep this slow, but I also have to be quick, so it's not too long of a video, etc. Yeah, so when you're coming up with stats for your character, you need to ask your DM, first off, what you're doing for your stats. Are you going to do standard array, which is it gives you a set thing of stats, or you do point by, where you get to kind of decide your stats a little bit within a boundary? Is your DM giving you stats to use, or are you rolling for stats? In which case, that one usually goes a little differently too. I know some people it's just 3d6 and that's it. Myself, I like to do 4d6 and then you subtract the lowest of the 4 and you do that 7 times and then take out the lowest of that, and the 6 leftover totals are your stats. For the sake of this sheet, we're just going to do it pretty straightforward. We're just do standard array, so nope, not 16. You're looking at 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. And those are the stats. We're going to rearrange it, but we just need to mess around for a bit first. So the form fillable PDF, it does have 3 pages here, as you can see. The top page here is really the only one you need, just straight up. This one, age, height, weight, eyes, hair, skin, etc. Like, most people you play with probably aren't going to care about that. Your character name is already at the top, so you don't need it right there. Appearance, it's already right here, so why? And then allies, organizations. I guess you could fill this in if you want. If you can't remember the alliance or organization you're a part of, then you probably need to put it in here. Backstory, hopefully you have it memorized, but otherwise here's a space for it. Additional features and traits, this already has all of that, so why even worry? Treasure, your inventory is here, but I guess this is a bigger block. And then down here, if you're a spellcaster, this is what you'll use. Oh boy, it's a lot. But anyway, let's see here. So let's think of a character we want to play, right? I'm thinking we keep this nice and easy, okay? So you've got together for D&D. DM's told you to make your characters, in which case he's probably helping you do it, hopefully, or a friend is helping you. So let's see. We're gonna do, what should we do for race? I'm trying to think of like a cool character idea. I want to do something simple, but also kind of wonky. I like Gish builds. Just like a battle mate. Actually, you know what? Yeah. On that note, we're gonna do. Do I know? Actually, yeah. We'll do monk. We'll do monk. I love monks. Monks are fucking sweet. Here's the monk. They get all kinds of cool shit. Monks and druids are my favorite class. Monks, you know, they're not the frontliner, but they could be on the front line. They're not the damage dealer, but they can do damage. They're like this nice middle ground of all things. But then there's the thing they excel at, which is utility and movement. And then as you get into the high levels, they just get infinitely more utility than literally anyone who isn't a spellcaster. But the only ones they're not going to beat in that category are the rogue. Otherwise, everyone else has spells to help them. But yeah, let's see here. So, a monk. Creating a monk. Read this paragraph. This will give you a good idea. Tells you good tips to keep in mind when coming up with a backstory. For a quick build, let's see. Dexterity the highest, followed by wisdom, as those are the skills that you will need for a monk, because a lot of their features really rely on, as you can see here, wisdom modifier, having those stats be really high. So, and it's a dex-based class, which is really nice. So if that's the case, we're going to swap these around. We're going to go with 15 dex, and we're going to do the 14 wisdom, which leaves us with 10 strength. Not bad, not bad. Con 13, do we really need it? I guess. Charisma. I don't know, charisma's usually like a nice fun stat to have just cause, but otherwise that or intelligence is usually the dump stat. Well, he's a monk who's been shut away a while, so let's help the guy out a bit. Let's at least make him a little charismatic, but he just has no idea on the worldly knowledge and things that have been going on. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Alright, what else do we have for monk, okay? So I guess I should go over the sheet. So that's the stats. Dex, wisdom, so we have that decided. Race. Race is a big decider in making a character, right? The race you can see here, this is just the basic PHB, by the way. So there's many other ways to do this. And quite frankly, if you're allowed to use Tasha's book, the newest one, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, you actually don't even have to follow this at all, because literally like the paragraphs in Tasha's just say, oh yeah, do whatever you want, who cares? And you're just like, okay. So your race, in all the books aside from the new one, your race actually gives you specific racial stats. In Tasha's, they're just like, who cares? Pick the stats you want. And then background, I'm pretty sure it says it somewhere in this book too. Background gives you skills, but yeah, I think, like right here, if you look at the acolyte right here, skill proficiencies, insight and religion. So I'm somewhere in here, it says something about like, oh, don't like the skills your background gives you? Make a custom one. Pick whatever 2 skills you want. Move on. So it's whatever. We're going to go by the book for this one, just in case. I'm thinking like a human monk hermit. Character name, Bobby Ganoush. Because why not? Class and level, he's a monk. And he's going to be level 01. Because that's what a lot of them start at. He's a hermit. Oop. Don't know why that didn't work. Player name, Donnie Vic. Race, he is a human. Alignment, chaotic neutral, what all players are, if I knew how to spell. Experience points, nada. Alrighty, so if he's human, if we check the book here, as soon as I go to the dang page for it, human, let's see. Oh, I don't know why that always goes to social interaction, but it does. Human, let's see, what page? 29. Let's see. Wait, no. What? Human? Human? Oh, here it is. Human traits. Alright, let's see here. Ability score improvements, +1 to each. Nice and easy. Has an idea of the age, the alignment they can be, your size. I always found the sizes in D&D tend to be like just really, really short, and it blows my mind. So in race, you'll also find your movement speed along with the ability score improvements. So ours is 30 feet. Cool. You find a thing of the languages we read, write, and speak. So it's common and one other one of our choice. There's an option here for variant human. It reduces the stat increase pretty drastically. Instead of +1 to everything, it's only +2 to 2 things. but you do get an extra skill and a feat at level 1. That's pretty massive. For simplicity's and time's sake, though, we're just gonna go with the basic human. Basic human. So it's a +1 to everything. So this goes to 11, 16, 14, which is nice. The 9 here. Jumped up to 15 wisdom. Good day, good day, good day. Right here. Okay. We're doing good. And let's see here. Oh yeah, speed 30 feet. So we've got a speed here. 30 feet, always fun. Your initiative is actually your dexterity modifier. So to go into modifiers, a 10 is an average score, right? So 10 means 0. And you could put the number, by the way, in the circle here, the big box here, but every even number above that and every even number below that is either a +1 or -1. So for example, 10 is 0. That means 11 is 0. 12 would be a +1. 13 +1. 14 even is +2. 15 odd, still +2. 16 we're up to 3. 17 would be 3, 18 would be 4, 19 would be 4, and 20, the max you can have in a stat, +5. So intelligence here, now that we're subtracting below 10, up to 8 is a -1. And then it's 7, -2, and then so on and so forth. So these are our stats. Whenever we roll stuff, we're going to add this number. And again, you could have either the modifier in the big box, which is probably a better idea to have it in the big box. That way it's easier to see. But I just know it in and out. So for me, it's pretty easy. I see a 16, I already know 3. But yeah. So those are our stats. Whenever we roll stuff, those are what we'll add and subtract. All right, let's go back to Monk now. As we need to know the next part. Also, for a +1 character, your proficiency bonus is always +2. But now we need to know saving throws, and your initiative is your dex. So initiative is going to be a 3. Anytime we roll for initiative, we add a 3. But temporary, there's no temporary. Now we need to go back, though, and check our saving throws, skills, hit dice. Right? Let's head back to here. We go to the monk. And all of this is right here in the first part, class feature. So our hit dice is a D8, right? So our hit points at first level is 8. It's always the max of what your hit dice is. So if you have a D6, it's a 6. If you have a D10, it's a 10. If you're a barbarian, it's the only D12. Then you have a 12. And you add your constitution modifier. For us, if we go to our constitution, that's a +2. So our health is 10. Makes sense. Level 1, your hit dice, D8, is always maxed out, plus your con, which is the 2 here, so it's 10. Like we just said before, hit dice is 1d8 plus 2, and we have 1 of these, because we are level 1. Young Bobby Ganoush is level 1. Inspiration, this will depend on your DM. I don't use it at all, because I don't care. Because to me, it just feels like it encourages favoritism. Or encourages people to, like, go out of their way to try to get it. So I don't really care for it. Because there's the people who don't give a shit, and then there's the people who are going to try for it. And so then you get to reward them, and the other person just will never get it. And so it feels like favoritism. Anyway, let's go back. Armor proficiency. Oh yeah, let's see here. So when you level up, and we're not leveling for the case of this character, but when you level up a character, you get to roll your hit dice and add the constitution modifier to the roll for every level all the way up to 20. So you can take the average, which is 5, because otherwise it would be 4.5, but they round up, and then you add the con. So, you know, in the case of the average, you'd get 7 more HP. You would now have 17 health at level 2. But we're not worried about that because we're not leveling up. So now we move on to the proficiencies. This is what your character is, like, good at doing, good with, etc. So armor, we don't wear any armor. We're a monk. They have unarmored defense. They actually have more AC by not wearing armor. And the wisdom is the determiner by that. So weapons, simple weapons. So the small stuff, clubs, daggers, bow staffs, etc. And short swords, which is a martial weapon. But for monks, it goes. Tools, we get one type of artisan tool. So like artisan tool is like basically like the crafting professions in video games, blacksmithing, leatherworking, alchemy, etc. and one musical instrument. Or one musical instrument, my bad. You know, I think our guy's just going to be really good at the banjo. Because I think Bobby Ganoush would be a solid banjo player. Saving throws. Here we go. This is what we're looking for. Saving throws and skills. So amongst saving throws are strength and dex. So we're going to check the little box here. That's a circle. Strength and dex. Is that what that said, right? Yeah, strength, dex. So you probably see this for the skills and stuff too, with the line and the circle. So if you have the circle filled in, that means you're proficient, which means you add this +2 to it. Our strength is 0, but we're proficient, so that's a 2. That's so tiny, holy shit. Dex, we're proficient, so instead of 3, it's 5. And then we're not proficient in these, so it's just going to be the basic modifier. Another 2. Intelligence is actually going to be -1, so if we have to make a intelligence saving throw, that's not going to go too well for us. Wisdom is +2. Charisma is a 1. So we're really good in for the melee oriented stuff. If someone's trying to grab us, push us over, if we're climbing or falling, etc. Stuff like that. Let's see, what else? Skills. Let's go check out the skills, shall we? Okay, so as a monk, we get to choose 2 of the following: acrobatics, athletics. Acrobatics is what it sounds like. It's the dexterity version of athletics. So this is like parkour, landing on your feet, wall running, doing a bunch of stuff. The line between acrobatics and athletics is really wispy and weird, but only from the acrobatics side. From the athletics side coming over, it's very straightforward. Literally in the book, it says something like athletics has to do with any climbing, swimming, or running and jumping. Doesn't make much sense. The line's very weird. It'll be up to the game and the DM which one you'll actually roll for this. But there are specific times you have to roll for one or the other. For example, I would definitely vote athletics for swimming. I feel like no matter how nimble and graceful you are, you still need to be strong to swim through water very quickly. That's more about fighting against resistance. But yeah, those both very good to have. Acrobatics especially, because we're a dex-based class. History is just general knowledge as well as religion. History can tell you a lot about the world. If you want to know more about that or you think your character would know about it, definitely pick up history. It is intelligence-based, so our character would not have a good time with that. And he's a hermit. He's been secluded. He probably wouldn't know anything about history. Insight is wisdom-based. This is basically the ability to read if someone's lying or if they're being shifty. It's wisdom, so pretty good. Again, though, our guy's been secluded for a while as a hermit, so probably not. Doesn't make much sense. Religion, intelligence-based. It's your knowledge on religion. Angels, demons, specific rituals and rites of various customs of different religions. So, if you're a cleric or a paladin, pretty good one to have. And stealth. Stealth is also dexterity-based. So I'm thinking acrobatics and stealth, because that just seems to work more if we've been stuck in the wild. So again, on all of these lines, you can see it just barely here, but in parentheses behind the skill is the stat that corresponds to the use of the skill. Acrobatics, it says dex, animal handling, wisdom, arcana is intelligence, athletics is strength, etc., etc. So whatever your better stats are, those are kind of the skills you want, right? So, or if you get a lot of skills, like you're a rogue or a bard, you could really just grab anything you want. The ones you're good at, even the ones you're bad at, you'll be good at, because, bards and rogues. But these are the ones we're good at. So you see the stat in the parenthesis. Basically what that means is you're going to take the number here. So all my intelligence-based ones would be -1. All my wisdom-based ones would be 2. All my dexterity-based ones would be 3. Makes sense, right? If the dot is checked, that means you're proficient, which means you add the 2. So acrobatics, it would normally be 3, but because the dot's filled in, we're proficient, so we get another 2. Math, total of 5. Bada bing, bada boom. Stealth, same thing. Stealth is dex-based, so 3, but we're proficient, so +2, so they're 5. And then you just go down the list if you want, or you can just remember that that's what it corresponds to, and then check the modifier over here. That's what I do. I don't like filling it in, and for some reason on this PDF, these numbers are so tiny, like my lord. All right, so we got that out of the way. Personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws. There are recommended ones in the background. Well, not recommended. There are suggested ones in the backgrounds. So let's find it here. Yeah, right here. So an acolyte. This is like a church person. So, you know, each background gives you skills, might give you languages, it gives you a little set of equipment, but also gives you a feature. So like for acolyte here, actually we'll do hermit since that's the one we are. That makes more sense. Hermit. Where are you? Here you go. Hermit. So this gives us, and this is something you'll want to do as well, probably look at the background you want while looking at the class. That way, or while you're trying to pick your class's skills. It's like, for example, acrobatics and stealth. I mean, we could have picked like religion and insight, but as you can see, hermit already gives us religion. So you want to double check the skills you'll get from a background while you're looking at the class. That way you don't overlap. You want to be able to change it up so you get all 4 of those. But as a hermit, we get medicine and religion. So we'll come back here, check off religion, and we'll check off medicine. Medicine's wisdom based. That's going to be good for us. And we're proficient, so that gives us another +2 over here. So that's going to take us to a total of 4. Let's see what else. Religion. It's intelligence, so -1. But we still get the +2, so that's going to take it up to a total of 1. Still not the best thing in the world, but, you know, better than nothing. If we ever need to make a religion check. Languages, we get 1 of our choice. Being a human, we have common and a 1 of our choice already, so now we'll get 2 of our choice. That's pretty nice. Equipment, we're pretty skimp on equipment. A scroll full of notes, studies, prayers, a blanket, common clothes, and a herbalism kit. And you can see as a hermit, we are skilled in herbalism. So that's going to be pretty nice. Yeah, life of seclusion, this is a suggested thing. This is basically just, you can roll on it or you can come up with it for your own backstory stuff. You just basically get to come up with like why you're a hermit, essentially. And it could be anything. I mean, you needed a quiet place to work, and then you just stayed there. You need to commune with nature. There you go. I was the caretaker of ruins. That's pretty cool. You know, all of them really good ideas, and you don't have to follow them to a T. You can read it, get inspiration from it, go make your own thing, or ignore it entirely and do whatever. The feature. So every background gives you a feature. So for a hermit, we have the quiet seclusion of an extended hermitage gave you access to a unique and powerful discovery. Basically, your character knows some crazy fact about the world, and the DM, knowing that you're a hermit because you told him that, gets to come up with the crazy thing that you know, and it may or may never or always come up in the game. But yeah, so suggested characteristics. Here it is. You see the personality traits, the same stuff that's right here. Basically how your character is, how they act, etc. You can roll a dice and get one at random and just sort of pick which ones you want. A lot of them are really good, and again, you can take them, not use them, take them, use them exactly, or use them for inspiration for something else, etc. All really helpful. I usually leave it blank and play my character how I want to play it. Yeah, other hermits, a lot of this afterwards is just flavor text, so it doesn't really matter. And again, if you use Tasha's book to everything, none of this matters. You just pick whatever 2 skills you want and move the hell on. Yeah, let's see here. Attacks. We're a monk, right? So we want, like, you know, fist. Fist is always fun. But no, your class gives you a list of basic starting equipment. So if we go back to the monk here. Here we are, starting equipment. So you start the following equipment in addition to any equipment granted by your background. So we can have either a short sword or any simple weapon, a dungeoneer's pack or an explorer's pack, and then we just get 10 darts. Okay? I like short swords, but I feel like being a hermit, we need the bow staff. We need a quarterstaff. And if we're a hermit, we're probably out, well, if we're defending ruins, maybe a dungeoneer's pack would be better. And then the darts we just get for free. So where is it? Here we are, equipment. So we're gonna go down here. I know a quarterstaff's a simple weapon, so I just know that right off the top of my head. A dungeoneer's pack and darts, right? And then we get hermit stuff. I don't remember what it actually said. So proficiencies, no armor, simple weapons, short swords, herbalism kit. Languages, common. We're defending ruins. Let's call them Elvish ruins. And then maybe, let's see. If we're out in the forest, like, doing ruins, maybe Primordial or, like, Sylvan would be cool. Sylvan's like the language of the Fae and stuff. That's cool. That's cool. I'm down with that. Passive wisdom. So this is your this is 10 plus whatever your perception skill is. We don't have any perception, so we just have 2 wisdom. So for us, passive perception is 12. A good number for the DM to know. There's also like a passive investigation and insight, but no one ever frickin' remembers it. Mostly because it's not on this sheet. Who'd have thought? But yeah, let's see here. Money, I think it said we had 5 gold coins, and that's it. That's unfortunate. But, you know, whatever. Gold's a lot. All right, so we have our stats. We have saving throws, initiative, speed, health, basic inventory, skills. We're skipping ideals. We have all this filled out. Next is going to be the attacks and spell casting and our features. So let's head back to the monk, shall we? So what are our features? Unarmored defense. So as a monk, beginning at first level, no armor and no shield. You can't have a shield. AC is 10 plus your dex modifier plus your wisdom modifier. So if we come back here, 10 plus our dex makes it 13 plus our wisdom modifier, 2. So that our armor class is 15. 10 plus 3 plus 2. 15. Good stuff. I love monks. All right. So we have our armor class. Oh, also we could put over here unarmored defense. Good to have. And you can put the equation there if you want. Whatever, write down whatever helps you remember it, basically. All right, next up, martial arts. Okay, so first level, you practice martial arts. So you get cool attacks and combos and cool stuff. So you can use martial arts anytime you're attacking with monk weapons or short swords. They can't have the two-handed property or the heavy property. Luckily, no simple weapons have that, so you're good. But while you meet those requirements and you're attacking, you gain the following benefits. You can also punch. It doesn't need to be simple weapons. You can do punches and kicks. And unarmed does not mean punches and kicks only. You can headbutt, throw elbows, throw knees, shoulder bash, booty bump someone for all they care. Yeah, so with martial arts, we can use dexterity instead of strength for unarmed strikes. That's always a benefit. Basically, we ignore the finesse property, meaning you can use dex. You roll a d4 for unarmed strikes and monk weapons instead of their normal damage number. Because otherwise, punching and kicking is only a single point of damage plus your strength. So this is really helpful. And our martial arts damage, aka unarmed strikes, and simple weapon stuff, goes up based on our monk level. So you can see at lower levels, it's a d4. From level 5 and on, it goes to a d6. 11 and on, it goes to a d8, etc., etc. So let's see here. Whenever we use the attack action to make an unarmed strike or an attack with a monk weapon on our turn, you can make a single unarmed strike as a bonus action. So basically, we're the only class that gets the extra attack feature practically at level 1. Unless other people are dual wielding. It's more 2-weapon fighting than it is extra attack. But yeah. You can also make unarmed strikes as a bonus action, assuming you haven't already taken a bonus action this turn. So you can punch, punch again, punch, kick, 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 stab with a short sword, punch, swing with a bow staff, punch, slice with a dagger, punch. As long as you just have the actions for it, really. Alright, so now, certain monasteries use specialized forms of monk weapons. For example, you might use a club that is 2 lengths of wood connected by a short chain. So this is flavor text. This is basically just informing you that even though the weapon says club, dagger, you can flavor it to be whatever you want. As long as it uses the in-game stats, who cares? Your whole goal as a monk is really just to look cool. But yeah. And when everything else past that's level 2. So we won't mess with that. So the next one up is martial arts. Good to go. Alright, and there's usually other stuff here based on your race, but we're a human. It's pretty basic. Not a lot goes in here. And by not a lot, I mean literally nothing. So, but I mean, if you really wanted to, you could do something like race stats. +1, 2, all. There, and then you're good. And if you were the variant one, you'd have like a feat and a skill in there too, just to remember like which ones you got from the race specifically. Yeah, otherwise, that's all we get. That's nice and simple. All right, so now we go to a text spellcasting. So we have the quarterstaff, right? And fist. So, staff. Your attack bonus. So now the attack bonus is pretty straightforward. You're more than likely proficient with the weapons you start with. So, a quarterstaff is a simple weapon. We're proficient unarmed, so we're proficient with all of these. And then we use our dex for attacks. So 3 plus 2. All of our attacks, we're going to add 5 to. Now for damage, it said earlier our punch was a d4, and we add our dex, which is 3. And a punch is bludgeoning. That's too big, so we'll just say like blunt damage. And then a quarterstaff's a bit weird. You can one-hand, it's a versatile weapon, which means you can one-hand it or two-hand it. So if you are one-handing it, it only does a d6, but if you're two-handing it, which you more than likely are, it's a d8. And a staff also does blunt damage. And all of the weapons, by the way, if you go back into the PHB, there's like a whole chapter for it right here. Weapons. Weapons. I said weapons. Here we go. So here's like all the properties in like described here and stuff. But then you go here and you have the list of all the weapons. The names here, how much they cost is here, their damage is here, how much they weigh is here, and then the actual properties that they have is right here. All right. So as a monk, we get all the simple ones, and it says simple melee, I'm pretty sure, but or no, it just says simple, doesn't? Yeah, it just says simple weapons. So we get that and the ranged ones, and short swords. Short swords are all the way down here under martial weapon. All right. But yeah. So now we come on back. Text and spellcasting, we don't really have anything too special, but I guess we could type something like can use bonus action to punch after taking attack action. Just as a reminder if you didn't type it in like over here or something. But yeah, after that, like pretty much you just get to play by your character's personality. Easy as that. You know, we got the name, we got all this stuff filled up. As you play the game, you'll get experience, you'll level up. Leveling up's pretty straightforward. You'll roll your, as soon as I can click things, you'll roll the health right here. So here it says, hit points at higher levels, a D8 plus con. So, you know, we would roll it, or take the average again, 7, which would make this 17. Stats don't really change much. Your proficiencies won't change. Your inventory will have probably changed by then. Maybe you'll have more money. Maybe your quarterstaff broke in half, etc. Maybe you used up all your darts. Blah blah blah. Maybe someone stole your Dungeoneer's pack. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I don't know why I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this now because it's bugging me. So yeah, it's all pretty straightforward, easy process. So you can come up with a personality and fill these in if you would like. You don't really need to, but yeah, again, like I said, it's up to you how you want to use it. These pages, you probably in your head understand what your character looks like, so you'll be able to describe it to other people, so I wouldn't worry about this page literally ever. You probably wrote your backstory out somewhere else, so don't worry about this, if you wrote it out at all. And then if you're a spellcaster, which we're not, because we're level 1 monk, you would fill this in a bit. And this is pretty straightforward. Spellcasting ability, for a monk, it would probably be, you know, like, wisdom. Spell save DC is 8 plus your proficiency. And at level 1, that means plus 2, so that's a 10. And then plus your wisdom ability, which for us is 2. So our DC is only 12. Like, pretty much we'll never succeed. Or everyone will always succeed against us. Spell attack bonus, this is the same thing as attacks, but again, as a monk, it would probably be wisdom, so we're talking like a plus 2, probably. So we'd roll a d20 plus 2. And then cantrips, what would we have as a monk? You know, I'm thinking like, let's see here. Let's do just some crazy stuff. Eldritch Blast. No, I'm kidding. We wouldn't have any of that because we're monks. But yeah, otherwise you would look up your spells and you would list them all right here. And then you would have your spell slots, you know, as a low level character, you have 3. If you spent any, you spent 1. You know, so now you know math, 3 minus 1, you only have 2 left, etc. And then eventually this starts to get filled out and crazy. I wouldn't use this page at all. I would actually do it somewhere else separately. Like, definitely have it here for help and, like, you know, assistance sake. But like definitely get like a phone app or something else to keep track of it. The character sheet does not do a very good job for spells, because all you do is get to list the name. You don't get the description of the spell or anything. Spellcasting is also really hard. I do not recommend playing a spellcaster as your first or second character, but I mean, if you enjoy a challenge in memory, go for it. But other than that, yeah, that's it. That's how easy it is to make a character. Now, when you're discovering this process and trying to come up with it, it usually takes like an hour or so. I tried to speed run this, so I'm sorry if a lot of it came out real fast, but you know, 30 minutes, not bad. But yeah, you know, just watch this, go back, pause it, play it at certain points, rewind it, etc. Try and find someone better at describing this. Oh, that would also work out. But yeah, that's pretty much the straightforward, dirty, easy way how to make a character. And then this is the hardest part too. You'll have this sheet and then you'll start playing and you'll probably only reference about 2 parts of it ever in the whole game, but it's good to have it with you at least. Other than that, most of the time you'll just be role-playing, so only when combat comes around will you ever really need this. And then as soon as you've started playing for a while, you'll just have your entire character memorized, so you won't even need to look at it for a while. But yeah, other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more like this, go ahead and subscribe, like the video if you liked it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, and or witticisms about anything, D&D especially, or any suggestions about another video you would like me to do or to cover, you can leave a comment down below. But until then, adios all.